Overview of Africa's cybersecurity commitment and ranking. Nigeria's national policy on cybersecurity. We just take a look at that document. Why do we need to revise this policy? And then what are the considerations that we should look at as we think about the revision? A national policy, as we all can make a definition of ours, is that set of principles or those set of principles that we use to guide our actions, our operations within the geographical area, usually ordered by the government of that particular place. These policies help us in making decisions or guide our decision making, and it is usually focused on a specific objective. We'll recall that in one of our modules, I think module 7 or module 8, where we worked on quality assurance. Most of us who participated in that module, we went through the process of developing policies on quality assurance for our institution. Usually, national policies are goal-oriented, and all of these characteristics are what we can attest to about national policy. At this moment, why should any nation consider cybersecurity policy? The reasons are as many as all of us in this room, but let's just look at the following 5. The rate at which digital technology is moving all over the places, in offices, at home, in the marketplace, this call for a national policy on cybersecurity. Data has become something very big. I was purposeful in highlighting that particular part of it black. Some people even refer to data as the oil of today. That's the crude oil of today. And before you know it, it might even become much more powerful than the crude that we had before. Having a national policy on cybersecurity serves as a platform where we effectively are able to confront and manage cyber threats. It helps in addressing national security because today, cyber wars are no longer going to be physical wars. Even cyber wars are going to be more complex than regular physical wars, ensuring that we have coordinated efforts and we're able to facilitate best practices. What is the general overlook of Africa's commitment and ranking in the world today when we talk about Global Cybersecurity Index? The International Telecommunications Union usually coordinates the ranking, among other bodies, coordinate the ranking of countries all over the world, including African countries, on how we are performing in our cybersecurity engagement. And usually we look at the legal, technical, organizational, capacity development, and cooperation. I have provided a link here where we can go through the full summary of that report for 2024. Looking at this chart, the report were able to categorize or was able to categorize African countries into 5 tiers: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. You will see that today's countries that, okay, I mean, those of us present today, myself and Dr. Felicia. Dr. Felicia is from Ghana, and Ghana is ranked under tier 1, while Nigeria, where I am from, is ranked under tier 3. What are the criteria for defining tier 1, tier 2, and up to tier 5? That we'll be able to go through in the next 2 slides, and we can do that at our own leisure. So, what then can we say about Nigerian national policy on cybersecurity? The first was launched in 2014, and after that, it was revised in 2021. This revised policy is what we have today, and it has at its vision to give a safe and secure digital community that provides opportunity for its citizens and promote peaceful and proactive engagement in cyberspace for enhanced national prosperity. And the mission is also, as we can see on the screen. Given this policy, if we look at the years, it's looking like that this policy has stayed or is completing its 5 years. And usually, we will recall from our lessons on how to develop policies. Policies are better revised every 5 years. And particularly for cybersecurity, I would even propose that it should be revised every 3 years, given the rate at which cyber crimes are growing and the rate at which digital technology is penetrating into everything that we do. The Nigerian national policy on cybersecurity has 8 pillars, or is resting on 8 pillars, and these 8 pillars are what you can see here. If we compare these 8 pillars with other policies all over the world, we will see that this policy stands apart and is able to compete favorably. But then, what are the challenges that we are having, and why do we need to revise? These are the things that we're talking about in the next few minutes. We need to revise this policy because, one, as I said earlier, when we're considering when this policy was launched in 2021, technology was not as advanced as it is. Cyber threat was not as advanced as it is today. So we look at rapid digital transformation today. We look at the fintechs.
Is it me or the speaker?
Network.
Yeah, I think it
It's
has
a
a network challenge. Yeah, that's right. That is a network challenge. So our backup plan is to take on the next person when he is done. Because see, the thing is, you don't know when the hitch will go away. So I think it's better for us to take on the next speaker, and then we'll come back to Dr. Oladejo. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'd like to invite our second speaker. Thank you very much, Dr. Felicia. You have 15 minutes,
Fantastic.
and I would remind you
Fantastic.
when you have 5
Dr.
minutes.
Felicia,
You can
fantastic.
go ahead,
Yeah.
ma.
Thank you very much. I will be making a presentation on towards Ghana's national policy on cyber security. So by way of the outline, I want to start off by giving a broader scope in terms of Ghana's digital landscape. And then we can look at some of the key policies and some of the key national level structures that have been put in place. Then we can then zoom down to the policy, which is our focus for today. Mainly just to say that there's been rapid expansion of digitalization in Ghana, mainly spearheaded by various key national level agendas. If you come to Ghana today, even to go and clear your vehicle at the port, Ghana has moved where now you don't have to do physical transactions. Everything is now digitalized. There's been key developmental agenda being spearheaded by the government. There's the national fiber optic backbone infrastructure. There's the Digital Ghana agenda. There are various key mobile technology adoption that has, gone significantly, and a lot of people are adopting technology in performing key transactions in finance, in education, in healthcare. We have a Ghana digital economy policy, which is driving all of this. By way of statistics in terms of mobile connection adoption, we actually have more than the current population of Ghana using various mobile connection. Internet users, we have 15.7 million, which is a huge figure as compared to our overall population. Active social media users in Ghana currently constitute 26.1%. Just to look at the critical cybersecurity threats facing Ghanaian businesses in 2025, they've been a survey by the Academic City University lists these 5 critical cybersecurity threats: sophisticated ransomware targeting critical infrastructure. There are also been various mobile payment vulnerabilities. Phishing is one key challenge that we face in the Ghanaian economy. As far as cybersecurity is concerned, there have been supply chain attacks. There's been a lot of cloud configuration vulnerabilities, as well as advanced phishing and social engineering related issues. According to the Ghana National Cybersecurity Center, cyber attacks against Ghanaian businesses have been on the rise. And as of 2024, this was a 42% increment. And I'm sure if we do take the statistic today, it has even gone higher. And just to say that the Ghanaian financial sector seem to have been a key target for obvious reasons, because that is where the money sits. And in 2022, there were key records of a breach of Universal Bank in Accra, falling victim to such a malicious cyber operation using the credentials of some staff that were on leave and things like that. An assessment by Ghana on Ghana's cyber attacks incidents and trend by the Cybersecurity Authority revealed the following as the trends. As I mentioned, there was ransomware attacks, there's the money in the middle, there's denial of service attack, a number of data breaches and cyber fraud, amongst others, as are displayed on the screen. Still in our understanding of the various regulations and the various conventions that are guiding the cyber space in Ghana, it is worth knowing that Ghana is one of the countries that have signed on to the Budapest Convention, And this is one of the first international treaty on crime committed via internet and other computer networks. Out of curiosity, I checked whether Nigeria had also signed on to the Budapest Convention, and I did see that Nigeria has actually signed on to it as well. There's also the African Union Convention on Cyber Security and Personal Data. WIPO also has a copyright treaty, which is just to protect the intellectual property copyrights and respond to advances related to that area as well. And Ghana has signed on to the WIPO copyright treaty. So what this does is that it helps institutions to collaborate beyond the country as far as crimes related to cyber and computer crimes are concerned. There's also the Ghana Cyber Security Act of 2020. Now, this is what Dr. Oladejo mentioned, that Ghana was ranked as a tier 1 as far as the ranking by the Global Cybersecurity Index is concerned. And tier 1 means that Ghana is at the point of role modeling, which means it has evolved, it is established, it is actually advancing and at the point of role modeling. And as at 2024, Ghana scored 99.27%. But as we have learned from this course that no institution, no country can claim to be completely cyber secure. So there are some challenges, as I mentioned earlier. These are still existing, but it only acknowledges that Ghana has put in place various structures that is helping to at least help the country deal with these cyber threats as they come up. So what are some of the key structures at the national level that the country has put in place? There's the Cyber Security Act, which was passed in Parliament in 2020. And that act is what helped establish the National Cybersecurity Authority, an authority that is responsible for overseeing everything concerning cybersecurity in Ghana, making sure that there are teams, there are policies in place, there are teams that quickly move to respond once there's a threat or once there's any attack of a form. Again, Ghana has institutionalized an annual National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And once it's National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we do receive a lot of communication via various sources, via emails, via our phones. There's a lot of awareness all over, trying to share some of these tips that Baba has been sharing with us via the newsletter as well. And they do this even at the lower primary level, at all levels of education, in the marketplaces, wherever they can reach Ghanaians. So it's a huge awareness that the country embarks on. There's also various cybercrime reporting mechanisms. There are numbers to call. There are contacts that are regularly, made available for Ghanaians to contact. There's also a child online protection, because we believe that children really, even us as adults, we are very vulnerable. And as we know, humans are the weakest link in ensuring and in promoting cybersecurity. How much more children? So there is a huge focus in terms of introducing children to be cyber secure as early as possible. Again, there's this structure shared by the Cybersecurity Authority, sort of trying to put in place a measure overseen by the President of the Republic of Ghana. And under him, there are key policies and strategies that have been put in place. There are joint cybersecurity committees. And Ghana believes that it's not only the experts who should be in charge of driving the national level cybersecurity agenda, because cybersecurity is something that concerns everyone. So they've put together this three-team structure, making sure that we have people from the ministry, people from the Ghana Police Service, people from various communication authorities, from Supreme Court, from the everyday person also engaged in this process. Just to now come down to the issue of Ghana's national cybersecurity policy. Yes, Ghana launched a national cybersecurity policy and strategy. So it's together, it's a policy and a strategy, and this was launched in 2024. That is the then Minister of Communication based in Ghana over here with the report. And the report provides a comprehensive roadmap to safeguard Ghana's digital space. That's a copy. And it has key focus areas. It's focused on ensuring that digital infrastructure is secured. It's looking at capacity development. So this is really huge on its agenda. It rolls out key capacity, building initiatives and engages the population to build their capacity to promote awareness as well. It's also focusing on deterring cybercrime and really going after the criminals. We do have a lot of Sakawa people in Ghana as well. So they really go out after them just to serve as deterrents to the others. It also focused on strengthening cooperation amongst various countries. And that is why Ghana has then signed on to some of the key treaties that I mentioned earlier and that I referenced. The key objectives of this policy includes the protection of critical information infrastructure, mainly to ensure that the infrastructure is protected to start off. Then also to put in place the various legal and regulatory frameworks, which will then guide in terms of what should be done, what are the key measures to undertake, what are the legal consequences, and making sure that there's a regulatory framework to regulate all the players in this space. And as I also referenced, the capacity development and awareness being a core component in terms of what the cybersecurity policy and strategy seeks to address and seeks to achieve. Then there is an incident.
You have 5 minutes more.
Thank you. There's an incident response and management process that has also been put in place, as well as international cooperation, because some of these, as we have learned in this course, are not only driven by individuals in various institutions, but it's a huge, cyber cartel, a huge group of people from across the world engaged in this. There are key policy statements also framed around the 5 core areas, around the legal aspect, around the technical aspect, around the organizational measures that need to be put in place, as well as the capacity and the cooperation angle. Just to also mention that the Cybersecurity Authority is the body in charge of the implementation and the rolling out of the policy, and the National Cybersecurity Authority have an oversight of everything cybersecurity in Ghana. There are key monitoring and evaluation measures put in place with specific success indicators under each of the 5 policy statements and policy angles that I referenced earlier. And these are monitored from time to time. So I would like to conclude, in the interest of time, that Ghana has been working hard to protect its cyberspace. It keeps on reviewing, its policies. These policies for 5 years, and after 5 years, it will be reviewed as well. And consequently, the government will continue to monitor the implementation of the policy and the strategy. Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Very good. Brilliant.
Thank
Brilliant.
you very much.
Simply brilliant. Well done. Well done.
Okay, sir, can we still have Dr.
Oh,
Oladejo
yes.
finish?
Yeah, of course. Let us conclude. Naijano, they carry last.
Okay. Dr. Adekunle Oladejo, I'm not sure he's still in the room.
Okay, let me just check.
Okay, he's in the room. Yeah, but he needs to be made a co-host.
Okay, maybe he went out earlier, so let me do that. Let me make him co-host. Yes. Yes. It's a co-host now.
Okay, Dr. Adekunle Oladejo, you still have 8 minutes to complete your lecture. You could start, please. I'll continue.
We cannot hear you.
You're muted, Dr. Oladejo.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah,
We
I'm
cannot
fine
hear
now.
you. Okay.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now, sir? Sorry, it's raining
Yes,
heavily
please.
here.
Loud and clear.
It's raining very heavily here. I'll do the best that I can to rush the slides. So here is the view of the national policy on cybersecurity for Nigeria. And like I said earlier, this is almost 5 years old now. And
No. You have just 5 more
here.
minutes. You are coming to this.
Yes, I will make it. I will make it.
Listen. Go to where you stopped. No, we have seen all of this.
Yes, sir. Okay.
We have seen this. We have seen this. Just go
I guess
to
I was here. I was running up here, sir.
No, 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 no. You are here. Yeah, that is where you were.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I was saying that these are the needs why we need to revise the national policy because of the new emerging trends and new threats that are coming up in cybersecurity. But taking that as it is, looking at one major reasons why there is the need for this call or to make this revision is look at Nigeria, number 13. And Baba just said that Nigeria they carry last in this class now. So how do we move from number 13? How do we move from number 13?
You're not serious.
To number 1. So moving from number 2 to number 1 is why there is a need for us to move. And when I look at the scorecards and I look at the podcast for all of these countries, we are just some points away from 100% in each of the 5 categories that will make us there. So what are my proposals? Considerations for revised policy. 1, governance and legal framework. We need to redefine our institutional mandates. We need to harmonize our cyber laws across sectors and ensure that our cybersecurity law enforcement units are able to operate with some level of autonomy. We need to engage in digital inclusion and public awareness. The woman selling paper who uses phone, who uses OP, needs to understand why cybersecurity is important to our business and to our life. Cyber hygiene education, radio jingles, television adverts, and all needs to be put in place. Most importantly, because we are academia, most of us here are in the academia. Cybersecurity research is important. How do we re-engineer our curriculum to see that right from primary school to secondary to university, virtually in all of the courses that you would do, cybersecurity is featured in this course. It becomes a responsibility of all of us. How do we ensure that cyber resilience in critical infrastructures are put in place? Our telecommunications, health. Today we talk about digital records, transportation, finance, and all the rest. In addition to that, is that cybersecurity is not a thing that any country can do alone. So there's the need for us, Dr. Felicia also mentioned this earlier, to join other bodies across the world within Africa to be able to build that strong network to fight these crimes. The youth also needs to be involved. Then most importantly, because I come from a center that promotes indigenous learning, there is the need for us to look into our cybersecurity and see how we can localize cybersecurity tools that can help us to build the shield that we are expecting. In conclusion, I am saying that it is time, what Nigeria has today as a policy on cybersecurity stands apart and can compete favorably with any policy in the world. I have looked at over 10 policies between yesterday and now, and I see that the provisions that we have there are not bad. But then our implementation, particularly on capacity building, becomes very important if we must move to tier 1 from tier 3. Thank you very much for listening.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well done. Well done. Well done. Wonderful. Wonderful. Host, are you still there?
Yes,
Apparently
yes, sir.
not. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Olakule and Dr. Felicia. Thank you for that wonderful lecture. Sir, I would like to ask for your permission, sir, to help us with the plenary discussions.
No, you will have to do that in 25 minutes. All I have to do, ma'am, is when you identify them, we use the VICBHE Emeritus Ogunbodede method, whereby it takes them 5 by 5 in fives, in quintets. So you take 5. I will then just call or mute them so they can just go on. And please set the procedure. First thing, your name. Second thing, your institution. Third thing, your contribution. All within 1 minute. Over to you, Institute Librarian.
Okay, so right now we are moving on to our plenary discussions. The rules are these: you raise up your electronic hands, make sure your video is switched on. If your video is off, we are not going to call you. You have 1 minute to tell us your name, the institution you're from, and your contribution. And we're going to take it in batches, 5 people, 5 professors per batch. Thank you very much. So, sir, we have Professor Nkechi Esomonu, Dr. Mrs. Sally Sue. We have Professor Joy Onikbede. Okay, sir, we have a user whose name here is just Tonia. Is it okay to go ahead and call her? The name is not in full.
No. If the person doesn't have the full name, we'll skip.
So please write out your full name if you would like to be called. And then we have Professor Omojewe, Ogenerumuse. Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4. And Professor Evelyn Godwin Nwaka. Those are the 5 people for this batch, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So they should go on. If one person is not ready, the next person takes over.
Professor Nkechi
Professor
Esemonu.
Nkechi Esemonu doesn't appear ready. So Dr. Mrs. Salisu, all of you, please just unmute. Unmute. I've given you this thing to unmute, so you don't need to wait.
I had unmuted.
Yes, ma'am. Wonderful. Professor Nkechi.
That's University. My son goes to Felicia Nkrumah. Thank you for your good lecture. I'm interested in Ghana being in tier 1. And you said that it is an indicator that they are at the point of being role model in cybersecurity. Please, can you throw more light on this?
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Professor Salisu.
She's not ready. Go on to Professor Joy Onikwede. She's not ready. She's not unmuting herself.
The Facilitator General, the management of VICBHE, and everyone present. Good morning, good afternoon, sirs and ma'ams. My name is Dr. Joy Abiola Onikwede from Federal College of Education, Abeokuta, but presently with the Universidade Estadual de Santa Cruz, Bahia, Brazil. My question, okay, I just want to compliment the lecture of Dr. Oladejo. Okay, we submitted that from his submission that cybersecurity policy shouldn't be a thing of 5 years, but it should be done every 3 years. I want to say in Brazil, cybersecurity policy is being managed by the Ministry of Defense, and it is being updated and implemented based on evolving threats, cyber threats. So I think cybersecurity policy should be done or should be implemented based on evolving cyber threats. Thank you so much, sirs and ma'ams.
Thank you, ma. Professor Mojewe Ogenerumuse.
Good afternoon.
Able to see the professor? I'm not able to see him.
It's a minister.
His video is bad.
It's a minister.
His video is one kind. This cyber security. We don't know whether it's. We can't see you well, sir.
This is my face.
Oh, no, I can't see it too. But carry on, sir. Carry on. Okay, it's offline. Okay. Dr. Evelyn Godwin.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma.
Okay, she's not ready. Professor Vincent Chigor.
Good afternoon, everybody. Vincent Chigor from the University of Nigeria. I want to contribute concerning Nigeria and where we are. The speaker, Oladejo, said that the policy is good, challenge is implementation. I'm just wondering whether is there really a way out? How do we figure a way out? Because this is the general characteristic of Nigeria. We will have good policies, we will have problem with implementation. How do we deal with it as it touches cyber security?
Thank you, sir.
Brilliant. Thank you.
So, sir, the next 5 speakers will be Professor Samuel Adebisi, Professor Gabriel Okafor, Professor Priscilla Uto, Professor Jonathan Setsimi, and Professor Khadijat Adenola Yahaya. Professor Samuel, sir, 1 minute, sir.
Thank you. Please, my question is directed to the first presenter. So within Nigeria, the topic is...
Your name, sir, and your university.
Professor Samuel Adebisi from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Please, thank you. Sorry for that. And the topic is towards a revised national policy in Nigeria. Now, question is that in Nigeria, we are used to implement new policy or new law. Or of the previous one, the existing one, how much have they been implemented religiously? Talk less of making a revised version of this. Can see Ghana with just a policy and see how they are moving. So I wish what the need of revising or making a revision of the policy. Why not implementing the present one that we have religiously and see how good we go. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, sir. Professor Gabriel Okafor. Professor Gabriel Okafor, are you there?
Next person.
Professor Priscilla Uto.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Professor Priscilla Uto from Benue State University.
Yeah, go on. You muted yourself. Can you unmute yourself again, ma'am? You muted yourself.
Professor
Can you unmute yourself again?
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I say my name is Professor Priscilla Uto from Benue State University. My question is to the first presenter, who said that Nigeria is 13th on the list, on the ranking, and I was wondering what the other countries are doing that Nigeria is not doing. We can learn lessons from them, and then to ask that we had a report last week, 21st from the JAM hackers report. Let's know about the implementation of been put in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Professor Jonathan Setimi.
Thank you very much, Madam. My name is Professor Jonathan Shetimi from Delta State University, Abraka. Mine is a concern about the 5-year review period, especially for the Nigerian policy. For technologies like AI and cybersecurity, where we have rapid developments and changes, I would advocate maybe a shorter period, 2 years maximum, and also in between, there should be regular updates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Professor Khadijat Adenola Yahaya.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Professor Khadijat Adenola Yahaya from University of Ilorin. My contribution is that Nigeria, we are known for formulating different policies, but the problem is the implementation. How do we implement or continuous review of this policy? It should not just be that we just join the other country to formulate policy, but we should be conscious of how to implement this policy. Like the presenter said that he is suggesting 3 years reviewing, but I will also go for a lesser year, 1 year reviewing, and most importantly, regular updating with this introduction of this AI technology. There's a need for everybody to be security conscious. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Sir, should I go for another batch?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. After this next batch of 5, we can ask for brief responses from our speakers, if you don't mind, and then take other batches.
Okay, sir. Sir, we have Professor Christopher Olowokere, Professor Mary Olire Edema, Professor Dimson Ifeyinwa, Professor Oroke Ezekiel Clinton, and Professor Doris Mora. Professor Christopher Olowokere, you've been asked to unmute. Okay, then we'll take Professor Christopher Olowokere.
Thank you very much.
No, go on. It's not ready. I mean, we can't look when you call them. No, just hold on, Professor Olowokere, if you don't mind. Anytime you call them, I will ask them to unmute. So they should just keep unmuting before you now ask them to talk. Now he didn't. But go on, sir, Professor Olowokere.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm Professor CJ Olowokere from University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. I think this policy can be implemented by using the principle we use during the population and family life program. We plug it in during our lessons, secondary school, primary school, and university. So through this one, everyone, all the students will be aware, staff will be aware about this policy and the importance of the policy on cybersecurity. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Professor Mary Olire Edema.
I want to thank our emeritus professor for this opportunity. I am Professor Mary Olire Edema from the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, Efron. I'm speaking to the one on Nigeria. Yes, I'm in agreement with the review, but I would say that the review should provide practical implementations that will not lead to Nigerians being criminalized. What we find is that when you have these new policies, lack of practical, clearly stated practical steps will all be turned into criminals for money to be siphoned from us. So whoever recommendations we are making, it should be clear so that we don't all become criminals to pay money to some persons. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma. Professor Dimson, if you are. Professor Oroke Ezekiel Clinton.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
No,
Professor
Dr.
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel Clinton, yes.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
I am
afternoon.
Dr. Ezekiel Clinton from Federal Polytechnic Ado Ekiti. I want to support the idea that the cybersecurity policy in Nigeria be reviewed to 1 year. I think 5 years is too much. Looking at so many threats, and then the AI, the advancement in technology and all that, I think it's better that it be reviewed annually, and not just as threats keep arising. It should be reviewed so that we will not be caught unaware. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Doris Mora.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Doris Mora from Madonna University, Nigeria. I want to add something to the considerations for a revised policy by the first speaker. You see, if we are talking about a revised policy, I want to suggest that on the section where he talked about digital inclusion and public awareness, the issue of use of indigenous languages and a possible media mix should be used, because the policy we are talking about revising, not so many Nigerians know about the cybersecurity policy. So if it is done in indigenous languages, so many people will get to know about what cybersecurity is all about, and using the media mix will help to create more awareness. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Okay, thank you, ma. We would like to invite Dr. Adekunle Oladejo. Could you please respond to the comments and contributions?
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you very much, ma. And I want to say thank you to all of those who have contributed when we regard to what I've just presented. And I want to wrap up this response in two folds. One is about the implementation. Yes, it is good to say, let us put the review year to 1 year, 2 year. But one thing I've learned from Baba is when you are giving solution, are these solutions practicable? If you look at the process it takes to review a policy, every year is cumbersome. I can share with us a link on Baba's video on how to make policies. So when I say 3 years, I look at so many factors. However, that will not throw away modification of areas where emerging trends need to be modified. But complete revision, I would think that 3 years is what is practical. That's number one. Number two is on the angle of implementation. Yes, it's the base of all of us to get this policy. It's online. Yesterday, I was trying to look at the old one, but when I saw that there's a revised version, until yesterday, I didn't know that there's a revised version. So many of us here too. So I think it's the base of all of us to keep ourselves abreast, particularly from what we have gained from this module, to see that we are up to date and then publicize this. It is our business altogether. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adekunle. Dr. Felicia, please, could you respond to the comments and contributions so far? Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to mention that aside Ghana, the other countries that are in Tier 1 include Kenya, Mauritius, Rwanda, and Tanzania. And someone asked what qualifies, what really makes the country to be grouped as Tier 1 or not. And mainly they look at several factors. It's an assessment they are doing. So they are looking at commitment by the country to those key things that I pointed out in my presentation. This is the legal framework in the country supporting cybersecurity, the technical aspect, the capacity, the organizational capacity building. They are also looking at the cooperative pillars in terms of the various arrangements between the country and other countries and other global, agendas that the country would have signed on to, which would then make cooperation with a specific country in terms of investigating any particular cybercrime activity or rolling out key global level agendas can even be facilitated. So those are some of the things that they look at, as well as, the key practices within the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Felicia Nkrumah. Facilitator General, sir,
Yes,
would like to call on the next 5 persons, sir. Professor Dora Agbonika, Professor Dodo Juliet Tingson, Dr. Mrs. Salisu, Professor Miriam Aminu, and Professor Chinedu Otuya from the NUC.
Okay, go on to the next. Dora Agbonika is not ready. Let's go on to.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Dr. Mrs. Salisu Titilola from Olabisi Onabanjo University.
Dodo Juliet.
And
no, please. Professor Dodo Juliet.
Dodo Juliet.
Okay, good afternoon, all. Thank you. My name is Dodo Juliet from the University of Jos. My concern is just that on the table of action plans that we saw that the presenter from Ghana presented, Nigeria was not seen on any of those lists. I'm concerned. Is it that Nigeria doesn't have any policy on cybersecurity at all? Thank you. That's just my concern.
Thank you very much. Professor Miriam Aminu.
Good afternoon, all. Mine is, I will talk about availability and awareness. We are all here, about 5,000. If you ask us today, how many of us are aware of this policy? Even though they are there, we are not aware. And I think the problem we are having is making this policy available and creating awareness of the presence of the availability of this policy. I just came from Ghana from quality assurance. When we were at Agenda 2063, we are not even aware of those policies. There is a policy on continental education strategy for Africa 2016-2025. We don't know. We are not aware of this. The problem is creating the awareness and make it available that we know what these policies have. It's not even implement what we don't know. We are not aware. We are not aware of these policies. That's my own take. We need to create awareness. Let everybody know that this policy exists. So that.
Thank you, ma. Professor Chinedu Otuya.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chinedu Otuya from the National Investors Commission, NUC. My contribution is the national policy is like a form of quality assurance on the use of cybersecurity. So unlike any quality assurance document, you have the input, process, and output framework. So my contribution is the input. Does it take into cognizance from the university systems, the higher educational systems, which is a major contribution for cybersecurity? Thank you.
Wonderful. Well
Thank
done.
you very much. Okay, so I'd like to call on the next set of 5. Dr. Abiodun Adeshino, Professor Omojewe Ogeneru Muse. I think we've called him. Professor Shoyoye, Professor Augusta Ifoma, and Professor Abdurrahman Murat. Dr. Abiodun Adeshino.
Yes, I'm Dr. Abiodun Adeshino from Emmanuel in the University of Education of Nigeria. My contribution is of the fact that we are having at the present time now counter policies. We want to have proliferate knowledge of cyber security at the grassroots level, primary and the secondary school. But at our primary and secondary school, we don't allow them to bring mobile phones to school. How can we achieve the feats of Kenya? How can we achieve the feat of Mauritius? How can we achieve the feat of Ghana if we have counter policy, like not allowing our secondary school students to bring answers to school? How would they be effectively taught cyber security, ethical hacking, and issues like that right from secondary school and primary school? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Professor Shoyoye.
Choyoye from Obafemi Awolowo University. My question is, which is the cybersecurity authority in Nigeria? And then I think that if that body is not well funded, we will not go anywhere near even tier 2. So that everything should be plainly stated, and then there should be more awareness of the existence of the cybersecurity authority. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Professor Augusta Ifoma, the floor is yours.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Professor Augusta Ifoma Emenike from Enugu State University of Science and Technology. My worry is on implementation. And as we're talking about policy revision, we should try to make it all-encompassing so that everybody should be aware and the public should be taken into cognizance, by having people to participate, bringing it down to the grassroots so that everybody will contribute and will be able to be carried along. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Professor Abdurrahman Nurat.
Yeah,
Professor
go on to the
Abdurrahman
next.
Nurat.
Brother Toyin Odeleye.
Professor
Okay,
Toyin
go ahead,
Odeleye. Professor Ishola Shade. Professor Abidemi Akindele. Professor Shehu Haruna Ezekiel, and Professor Delta Achi Anthony.
Omodewa has not spoken. Omodewa has not spoken.
Professor
Should I go ahead? Should I go ahead, Ma? Thank you very much for this opportunity, sir. And Ma, okay, thank you very much, ma'am. My concern is to
yeah, so who are you? Which institution? Look, let's get
sorry,
this thing straight now.
I'm sorry, sir. My name is Toyin Odeleye from the Federal College of Education Special, Oyo. And I want to ask Dr. Felicia, is there any tip you can share with us as Nigerians that will move us from this 3 to 1? Could there be exchange of ideas, or you have tips for us, or a program that will bring us together so that we can move from this tier 3 that Nigeria is presently on to tier 1? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma. Professor Ishola Shade.
Yes, hello everyone. Good afternoon, Emeritus Professor. Thank you very much. Sir, my own is just very few questions. I want to ask, sir, from the
Madam,
first speaker.
Where are you from? No, where you come from?
I'm
Which
from Federal
institution?
University, Lokoja. I'm so sorry, I'm from Federal University, Lokoja. All right, my question goes to Dr. Oladejo. Please, sir, can you just avail us with all these policies? We need to be aware of them. Then again, from what we have learned so far in this course, we were told that these cyber security criminals, they can easily relocate their bases. So I really want us to emphasize on synergy. Nigeria cannot stand alone in combating cyber security criminals. We need to synergize with other countries. In fact, we need to synergize with the whole world. We need to come together to fight all these criminals. Then again, I want to ask, if there are other countries that are on tier 1 that are serving as role models, which of these countries is likely to be a role model to Nigeria in combating security criminalism? Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Professor Akindele.
Good afternoon, Facilitator General and everyone.
Yes,
My name is Professor Abidemi Akindele from the University of Lagos. And I want to do a follow-up to Professor Odeleye's question to either of the speakers. Do we have a peer review mechanism on the continent that brings together the relevant agencies from the different countries to leverage on each other's strengths and to probably learn from each other, which will then culminate in the improvement of the different policies for the different countries? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Professor Shehu Haruna Ezekiel.
Thank you. I am Professor Shehu Haruna Ezekiel from Adamawa State University, Mubi. My own is, with more than 4,000 of us being trained on the basics of cybersecurity, I suggest that the next review of the policy should include our inputs so that it will give credit to our Facilitator General Emeritus. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so sir, we have 4 4 hands that have been raised up. Should I go ahead to call them, sir?
Yes, let's do the 4, and then we're going to close with 1 minute each from the speakers.
Okay, sir. Professor Delta Achi Anthony, your video is off, so we are not going to call you. Professor Olalekan Adeniyi, Professor Adamadu, Professor Omojewe Ogenerumuse, Professor Dr. Mrs. Salisu.
No,
and
Mrs.
Professor
Salisu, we're not
Donald
going to take
Odele.
her. Well, she's been coming here and there, so she's going to come next time. No, let's take the 4: Olalekan Adeniyi, Professor C. Adamadu of Photo, and let's take the 3 of them. Omojewe Ogene, Professor Stella. We can't take you because we can't take only first name. So let's take 3, and then we'll move on.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. I am Professor Olalekan David Adeniyi from the Federal University of Technology. All right. Professor Olalekan David Adeniyi from the Federal University of Technology. I just want to briefly comment on the national policy on cybersecurity. I think it's a good idea, but there's a thing which I think that how do we get it to work in the Nigeria system where policy are known how to work most of the time, most especially when it comes to the implementation stage. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Professor.
Thank you, sir.
Dema.
Professor Adamadu of Photo. Waiting for you, Mom. She's not ready.
Maybe
so we'll take
network.
Professor Mojewo Ogene Remuse as the last one.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. I am Omojewe Ogene Remuse from Crawford University. My question is, I wanted to ask a question. If because I've been scammed, who do we, when we are scammed online? Who do we report? Is there anybody that takes care of that, that is responsible? Because
police. You report to police, and police will scam you in return. Police will also scam you. I'm joking.
Because of an online scam, it's very painful.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we'll take
Thank
our
you very
responses. Our host will take our responses. All hands down, please. No more for now. We have 1 minute each for the speakers, if you don't mind.
Thank you very much, sir. I like to go first quickly, and I want to start by looking at this chart, because the question is like, what can we do as Nigeria? On that, for us to get tier 1, we need to score 20 on each of these points. If you look at our lapses is on organizational measures, capacity building, and cooperation. That's why I emphasized on these 3 major areas under my considerations. If we are able to build capacity, increase our cooperation with other countries, looking at all of those things that we have, the AU, the ECOWAS measures, and that also answers the question from one of our participants that says, is there anybody that is trying to bring together all of these countries in Africa? Yes, there are. And by the time you look at my slides, you will see all of these bodies, and then maybe from there we can take on. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. There was a question to me. Okay, thank you. There was a question to me about Nigeria not appearing in terms of the ranking. I think we said Nigeria placed in tier 3. And just to mention that Nigeria is there together with 105 other countries. And the comment is that digital infrastructure is expanding, but they are still working to develop comprehensive cybersecurity frameworks. So it shows that there's some work being done, but there's still a lot more work to be done. On the question of peer review mechanism on the continent, as Dr. Oladejo mentioned, there are some bodies, but maybe we should ask ourselves in terms of how effective they have been, and whether perhaps we would want to throw a challenge to our facilitator general to look into this, to pick this up, maybe to see how we can bring countries together in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Felicia.
Can you round up our host so that we'll just conclude? We have just about 3 more minutes.
Okay, sir. So we have come to the end of today's live lecture. This is the 6th live lecture for this course, Module 10. And I believe that we've had lots of insights, we've had a lot of knowledge, and we've learned that Nigeria can be in tier 1 if we cooperate with other countries, if we cooperate with the right bodies, and if our organizational measures are put in place. As we work towards that, as potential cybersecurity experts, I believe that Nigeria can get to tier 1. Thank you very much, sir, Facilitator General.
Thank you very much, our great host and Institute librarian, Dr. Adetola A. Akonbi-Emunkan. She's done very well. But most importantly are our speakers. No, more importantly are our speakers. They've dazed us. From Ghana, Dr. Felicia Nkrumah, you've done so very well. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock Nigeria time, that's 10 o'clock, the president of Ghana will be inaugurating something that I'm putting together. And if you're able to attend, I will tell President John Mahama that he has got somebody who can chair the next set of revision. No, if you come tomorrow, I will say it now. Next set of revisions of the cybersecurity operation. Dr. Kunle Oladejo, assistant professor, you are just in a class of your own. So the two speakers for today, they have done so very, very well. And on behalf of, I said, more importantly, that most importantly are us, the participants in this training program. You have all done so super well. And I'd like for everybody to give everybody a round of applause. I'm taking away a couple of things. One is that there's a need for us, arising from these two presentations, to set up a team of Oladejo, Nkrumah, and one or two others to develop a draft policy brief that we can send to the Ghanaian government, send to the Nigerian government, a policy brief of where we are with regard to cybersecurity policy and the challenges of implementation. Somebody has mentioned about indigenous languages. Hey, yeah, very important. Kunle started it and the others echoed it. Many people here, as Professor Miriam Aminu has said, and some others, have not seen this national policy that Kunle mentioned. Not seen it. So there's need to be that awareness. I will be sending out, Kunle, you need to send me the national policy for Nigeria. Dr. Nkrumah, you need to send me the one for Ghana. So it will be part of the package I'll be sending to all the participants later today. Your PowerPoint files and then the national policies will have to go out. And then this matter of peer review mechanism, as Professor Nkrumah has said, will have to work towards it, where there is a regional peer review. I'm sure maybe AU is doing something like that, but we will take it as a project. Once again, thank you all very much. It's exactly a minute to